Guys, it's Jenny here. So yeah, last night I was playing around with the idea of doing a 24-hour readathon, but as you might know, I started Riverdale last night. Ended up finishing it. Didn't get much sleep, but yeah, started and finished Riverdale last night. 13 hours. It was great. I'm really mad at the ending. And I went and saw Justice League like an hour ago. Has it been an hour? Yeah, it's been like an hour. So it was like an hour ago. It was great, by the way. Jason Momoa is just like... But anyway, so today I have like a triple whammy for you today. I have a small book haul, my November wrap-up, and my December TBR. So, whoa. I'm sorry, I'm really tired tonight. So yeah. There is going to be one book that's excluded from my TBR, and that's, I forgot to unwrap one for my December from my, craft pile. So, when I get home, I'm going to unwrap one, and then maybe I'll just make that a separate video, unwrapping which bookish crafts video I have to read for the December month. But without further ado, I'm going to get into my video. Got a great stack of books here going. So the book that I'm going to be hauling for you today is a book that I've been waiting for an entire year. And it's the final book to a trilogy that I love, and that is the Queen of Hearts trilogy. So I hauled War of the Cards by Colleen Oakes. As I said, this is book 3 in the series. So, I can't go into depth about it, but this is a really good series. Queen of Hearts is basically just focusing on Dina, who is she's the princess of Wonderland. She's the daughter of a king, and she's being trained to someday rule the Wonderland. But then she keeps getting betrayed, and then she starts to feel this darkness building up inside of her, and this darkness inside the palace. And she just has to really look at what she's willing to do to do what's right. So yeah, the second book is mainly just her journey and her, adventure. And then this is the conclusion to that. And I am so excited to read this. Plus, can we just give her props for this cover? This is probably my favorite of the 3. I just love the colors. And you can see, if you had all of the books together, I could show you how much Dina has developed in the cover. But, oh God, it's so aesthetic. And look at even the back. This is so aesthetic. And... so I'll try to explain this as best as I can. So the first book is white. It's white with, the girl is black, the lettering is red. And on the cover, Princess is in bold. And yeah, so the book is, white with black lettering. The second book is red. The Queen is white, the Queen is white, the lettering's black. And then Warrior was bolded in the second book. And in this book, obviously, black. So that kind of symbolizes how dark she gets throughout the books. And I just love the aesthetic of that. Because this is the backstory of the Queen of Hearts, the off with her heads lady. All of these reimaginings from, Heartless by Marissa Meyer and Blood of Wonderland by Colleen Oakes, these are giving us a reason to understand why the villains are the way that they are. And that's something I really appreciate in YA, especially YA. They just like do such a good job of it. And while I was in Barnes & Noble today, my dad made the mistake of giving me $20 and just leaving me at the store. Always a big mistake. And I was armed with a 45% off coupon. Like, granted, he did tell me that if I didn't bring him change, there would be consequences. So I restrained myself from buying more books. But whenever I go into Barnes & Noble and see things that I haven't seen before, like a new book that I want, I just take a picture of it and put it on my list and keep looking for it on Book Outlet. But anyway, I will get into my TBR. My wrap-up. Shamefully, in November, I only read 2 books. It's already the freaking, it's already the 25th. I really don't think I'm gonna finish a book by then. But if I do, I'll just throw it in with my unwrapping of my December book. So, as of right now, I only read 2 books. The first book that I read this month was One Dark Throne by Kendar Blake. This is the sequel for 3 Dark Thrones, which this was phenomenal. This takes the cake. It was good. It was so much better than the first book. Like, I don't know what it is with me and sequels lately, but every single sequel I've read this year has been better than the first book. And, like, normally that doesn't happen. But this was such a good book. I need to put these down. They hurt my elbow. But, yes. 3 Dark Crowns. If you are just sick of hearing this from me, just know that 3 Dark Crowns is basically about 3 queens who, they're triplets. Each of them has a different form of magic. When they're 16, they all have to compete. Only one of them can remain alive, and the other 2 have to die by that queen's hand in order for one queen to rule the island of Fenburn. And this is a continuation of the first book. I'll forewarn you, if you haven't read 3 Dark Crowns yet, it ends in a really, really big cliffhanger, multiple cliffhangers actually. But lucky for you, this book is out. You didn't have to wait a year like I did. I had to wait a whole year on a cliffhanger like that. But yes, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I'm actually giving both of the books that I read this month a 5 out of 5 stars because they were so good. The second book that I read was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This is about a girl named Audrey Wadsworth who, her uncle is a mortician. No, it's not a mortician. He's a forensic scientist. And so, yeah, he does autopsies and studies the dead, and he's kind of like, the he's kind of like the BAU from Criminal Minds. He, like, predicts death and, like, helps catch serial killers. And so, this is set in, oh god, what time is it set in? 1888. So, women were still expected to do the bare minimum, and so when she starts apprenticing with her uncle and cutting open dead people, naturally it's frowned upon in their time period. But yeah, she is apprenticing with her uncle, and this is during Jack the Ripper's reign in London. And she, like, throughout this time, she's helping her uncle, trying to figure out who done it, and, you know, just learning forensic science. And that, like, the idea to me was just, like, so cool. I loved reading this, because she's such a bold, badass character. Like, she's great. I loved her. And despite all of the horrors that Jack the Ripper did to all these women, she was the girl that loved the Ripper. And it did not go the direction I was expecting it to. I mean, about halfway through, I started suspecting it, but, like, oh my god, it kind of did take me by surprise. But yes, another 5 out of 5 stars. If you have not read this, I highly recommend it. I always told myself I was never one for historical fiction, but honestly, this was phenomenal. and I'm so glad I gave it a chance because I can't wait to pick up the sequel. I was eyeing the sequel in Barnes & Noble today. I was just like, I'm coming back for you. So now we're getting into my TBR, which is really lengthy. I probably won't even get to, like, I don't even know. 1, 2, 3. I have 7 books here, so I might get to, like, 3 or 4 of them. One of the ones that is the shortest is the one I'm going to pick up first. And that is Jackie by William Ritter. This is set in 1892, so this is shortly after Jack the Ripper. But yeah, this is a detective who, needs an assistant, and it's basically Sherlock Holmes crossed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm trying not to go too into depth about my TBR books because I already talked for 11 minutes about 3 other books. Like, I'm so sorry. But yes, this is a detective mystery where I'm pretty sure vampires get involved because why else would it be crossed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Yeah, the work of the kind of creature whose very existence the local authorities seem adamant to deny. So yes, this sounds very good, and especially I just recently read Stalking Jack the Ripper, so I think that this is going to be a really good intro book for me and will hopefully pull me out of the book slump I can feel myself getting sucked into. So yeah. Then we have, God, what's the shortest one? I picked so many big books, I don't know why I did this to myself. The next book I have is one of the ones I just recently hauled, and this is The Glass Spare by Lauren DeStefano. Just kidding. The next book that I plan on reading for this month, if I don't even read this before Jacoby, is War of the Cards by Colleen Oakes. And I'm not going to go into depth of this at all because I just spent like 3 minutes talking about it like 7 minutes ago. So yes, this is also on my TBR. Even though I just bought it, I've been waiting for that a year. I need to just finish the series. Yes. Okay, so now, hopefully I get to 4 books, if not 5 this month. But the next book I have is The Glass Bear by Lauren DeStefano. This is basically about a princess named Wilhelmina, who is she's the daughter of a king. And the king tries to keep her locked up so that she can serve as his spy. But then she discovers that she has these superpowers where she can touch people and they will turn into gemstones. So that sounds freaking awesome. And so she starts to, develop these gifts for the oncoming war. And I don't know, I just really like that concept. It sounds so cool. Plus, this book is so pretty. I don't actually remember what this looks like. Oh, it's kind of dull, but yes, so The Glass Spare. Okay, let's just go. Let me see. That has. I don't know what I'm doing. Every single book I've been reading for the past couple months, all of them have multiple sequels, and it's like, oh my god. So when I'm trying to decide what to read next, my head's like, they all have like 4 sequels. What are you going to do with your life? Okay, so we're just going to go the easy route. And I'm going to say This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I keep wanting to say V.E. Schwab. By Victoria Schwab. This is basically about a city that is divided into 2 sections. Okay, so a city that's divided into 2 sections, the human section and the monster section. See, there's a girl named Kate. Her father is the leader of one section, the human section, and a boy named August, whose father is the leader of the monster section. August is a monster, and he can steal souls with a song, and he is his father's secret weapon. So their city is crumbling because it's divided between those 2. And Kate and August are brought together because they're the only ones that see both sides of their city. But yeah, they're at odds because they don't know how to tell between hero and villain. And I just thought that's a cool concept. Like, you can steal souls with a song. Like, holy crap, how cool is that? So yeah, this is a book I've really been wanting to read for a while. I'm pretty sure I picked this up when I picked up Court of Mist and Fury. And that was a while ago. No, like, picked it up from the store. I bought this with Court of Mist and Fury. And that was, like, a while ago. So yeah, I plan on reading this, hopefully this month. If not, it'll be... My god, I just realized that the month after December is a new year. Anyway. So, probably the book after this will be Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is set in the Grishaverse. Everybody's been telling me that I should read the Grisha trilogy before I do Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. So yeah, this is basically about a girl who is a soldier. And she doesn't think she's going to survive her first assignment, which is a trek across a shadow fold, which is, you know, basically darkness, death, doom. Her regiment gets attacked, and her rage fuels this, like, magic that was dormant inside of her she didn't even know she had. So she unleashes it, and then she gets thrown into, like, everyone starts worshiping her because she has these powers, and she gets all this lavish royalty, all these prizes, and then she gets trained with the Grisha, which are the magical military elite, and yeah, the Darkling, yeah, he gets a hold of her, and he believes she can summon a force capable of destroying the Shadowfold where her regiment was attacked, which if she were to be able to destroy the Shadowfold, it would mean that their war-ravaged country would be reunited, but only if she can master her gift. Yeah, so that sounds super interesting. The only problem I see with me reading the Grishaverse trilogy is that it's really hard for me to read political fantasy. So that's the only problem that I see with The Glass Spare as well, is that it's kind of political. Same with Throne of Glass, actually. Really, any fantasy is kind of political if you think about it. War of the Cards definitely, what was it? Oh, Three Dark Crowns was political, and that's what made it so hard for me to get into. But anywho, since these two are the first books, I'm probably gonna... So the next book that I really, really need to pick up is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. Yeah, this is the second book. What am I doing with my life? Anyway, this is the sequel to the Lunar Chronicles series, or the Cress. No, Cinder, which is the Lunar Chronicle series. These are all fairy tale retellings. So the first one is obviously a retelling of Cinderella. This one is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. The third one is a retelling of Rapunzel. Fourth one is a retelling of Snow White. And I just love fairy tale retellings. So this is set in New Beijing. Just don't listen to me. Cinder is set in New Beijing, and Cinder is actually a cyborg. She's half human, half robot. She's a mechanic. She ends up fixing one of the prince's androids, who actually holds deadly military secrets. New Beijing is under a plague, and it has no cure. And one day, when they're at the market, Cinder's stepsister, who is one of her Peony, I think, she ends up getting the plague. And so Cinder's stepmother ends up blaming Cinder for her daughter getting the plague, so Cinder's stepmom volunteers her to be forcefully injected with the plague to save mankind, and nobody has ever survived that before. So yeah, so you get to see how everything pans out in that book, and then it kind of starts fresh with a new character in this book, with Scarlet. But of course it incorporates some old characters as well. So I'm finally excited to hopefully pick this series back up. I'm sorry, I know I'm taking so long, but I really feel like I'm going into, like, depth of these books, like, with more knowledge that I have now, and I never really do that. Like, I usually have to look at the back 24/7, but I just am now realizing, like, okay, I know these books, I just know what they're about, I can do this without looking at them. So the next 2 books I have here, okay, don't know that much about that one that's left, but this one, I really, really want to pick up Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I officially have all of the books in the series. Well, the 5th one's coming in the mail. I'm sorry, my throat is really tickly. I bypassed a cold by, like, this much. Like, I could feel my throat getting sore, and then it just, like, I rested it a lot, and I drank lots of hot stuff, and it just didn't even get sore, and I was so happy. I was getting a stuffy nose, but I just kept, like, breathing, like, really clearly, and it just went away. I bypassed it, and now I can feel myself getting a scratchy throat. But anyway, Throne of Glass is about an assassin named Selena Sardothien. Selena Sardothien. She is the greatest assassin in the land. She is summoned to the king's castle. She gets escorted out of jail to see the king. And essentially, the king wants to hold a competition where all of the assassins compete to be his personal assassin. So, in the competition, she has to kill, 23 killers, thieves, and warriors in a competition. She will be released from the prison and serve as the king's personal guard. And then her competitors start dying. Her fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival, because the king said that if she serves as his assassin for a certain number of years, she will be granted her freedom. So, female assassin sounds great. I'm still stuck in her Throne of Glass verse, not Throne of Glass, Court of Thorns and Roses. I am so obsessed with that series so much. It's so hard for me because I have Court of Thorns and Roses and Court of Mist and Fury both in paperback, but then I have Court of Mist and Fury and Court of Wings and Ruin in hardcover. So I just need Court of Thorns and Roses in hardcover and Court of Wings and Ruin in paperback. So it's like, but they don't sell either of those in stores anymore. The final book I have is a book I probably won't even get to this month, if I'm being completely honest. I just grabbed it because I didn't know what I was gonna feel like picking up. So I'm just talking about everything I brought. This is Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. I need to read the back for this one because I really haven't looked at this book since I got it. I'm just gonna read the back. Aranos, who is a privileged Princess Cleo, is forced to confront violence for the first time in her life when a shocking murder sets her kingdom on a path to collapse. Limeros, the king's son Magnus, must plan each footstep with shrewd, sharp guile if he is to earn his powerful father's trust, while his sister Lucia discovers a terrifying secret about her heritage that will change everything. Palcia, rebellious Jonas lashes out against the forces of opposition that have kept his country cruelly impoverished, and finds himself the leader of a people's revolution centuries in the making. Witches, if found, are put to death, and watchers, immortal beings who take the shape of hawks to visit the human world, have been almost entirely forgotten. A vicious power struggle quickly escalates to war, and 4 young people collide against one another in the rise of Elementia, the magic that can topple kingdoms and crown a ruler in the same day. So it sounds pretty interesting. It might not be completely up my alley, but I bought it on a whim because the cover caught my eye and everybody was talking about it. So now that I have talked your ear off for 25 freaking minutes, I'm going to let you guys go. Those are the 8 books I have in my TBR, a 1 book haul, and my wrap up all in one video. And look forward to my book outlet haul. It should be coming to my dad's house within 2 days, but I won't be here, so I don't know when I'm going to be able to open up my package, which really depresses me. I just sent it to my dad's because I didn't want any more problems with my mail lady at my house, who has an issue with not leaving my books where they're supposed to be. But yeah, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and always leave a comment down below because I always love talking to you guys. Thanks for watching.